Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Today, we will talk about one of the hottest debates in digital marketing. Is AI disrupting SEO or transforming it? With AI overviews, generative search, content automation, and answer engines, the rules for ranking seems to be changing. To unpack this, today we have a special guest, Mr. Prashant Puri, the founder and CEO of AdLift, India's leading digital marketing agency. Hi, Prashant. Welcome to the show.
Hi Raj, great to be here.
Yeah. So Prashant, today I have so many questions to ask. My first question is AI really killing SEO or it's upgrading it?
AI is definitely not killing SEO. It's upgrading it from ranking pages to actually ranking brands. That's the way we kind of see it. SEO used to be about links, clicks, keywords, but now it's more about authority, clarity, citations within the AI ecosystem, within the AI systems.
Okay. So what changed your perspective in last 12 months?
So lots of changes here, within. So when I kind of think about Raj, when I think about SEO, if I rewind back to 2019, SEO was all about one big elephant in the room, which is Google, driving 94-95% market share across any country. Today, when we think about organic traffic, right? When we talk about organic impressions, when we talk about organic mentions, we're also now talking about AEO, GEO, ranking on large language models like ChatGPT. So the entire ecosystem has changed where earlier marketeers or SEOs were only thinking about optimizing for one engine, but now we're thinking about multiple engines. We're thinking about Gemini, we're thinking of AI overview, which is within the Google ecosystem, ChatGPT, Perplexity. There's a lot of talk about Claude that's currently happening. Last 12 months, we've seen about 100 million weekly users just on ChatGPT. That's like mammoth growth, right? That took Netflix about 5 to 6 years to get to that. It took Instagram about 2 years to get to that level, which is something that ChatGPT did in about a couple of months. AI overview now serves 50 billion searches every month. That's how often AI overview actually comes in. So tons of changes happening within the organic spectrum.
Okay. This 50 billion number is data about India or worldwide?
Worldwide. So the way we
Okay.
the
Okay.
way we calculate it today, AI overview is triggered for about 20 to 25% of searches. On a monthly blade basis, you're getting about 250 billion searches on Google. So you're looking at about roughly 50 billion on AI overview, which is massive, and it's also huge opportunity for brands to dive into.
Okay. So, I mean, with this such a big number, do we think this traditional ranking factor is becoming less important now? Because everyone is talking about AI.
So the fundamental of SEO doesn't really change, right? Because SEO is about being found, and the way you are being found is through driving authority via citations. Currently, you're calling it citations. Previously, it was called backlinks and content. Technical SEO is critical still. Technical SEO is essentially how are bots crawling your website? Is it easy to crawl? The same factors is what large language models are also using, right? Like, is it easy to crawl your website? If it's not easy, they're not going to cite you. If you're not being talked about across multiple citations, your brand is not going to rank. So overall, the fundamentals of SEO are the same. It's just that the strategy has changed a little bit.
Okay. Okay. But we have seen like majority of websites have lost their traffic, right? So what do you think? What percent of traffic you have seen drop with your clients in this last 1 year?
So overall, the way we look at this is, there's just so many keywords. So if I look at SEO, even prior to AI overview or large language models, driving anywhere between 10 to 15% of organic market share, even before that, there's something known as zero click,
Yeah.
which was brought about because of the zero box, which was showing up. Now zero box doesn't show up, AI overview shows up. So even a couple of years, a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, we were optimizing as an agency, we were optimizing for the zero box. And we were optimizing for, if you're not getting that click, which currently zero clicks is about 60% of all search queries, organic is only 30%. The rest of the 10% is distributed across other Google sites. And then there's about 2% which goes to paid. So even if you're not currently optimizing for AI overview or previously zero box, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. And that's essentially what we've always been doing. So we haven't seen a decline. We've seen a significant improvement in impressions. So when we go to Google
Okay.
Search Console across each of our clients, impressions have increased significantly because they're being mentioned a lot more because we are optimizing for AI overview, and because there's a mammoth increase in impressions, clicks are also coming through. So decline is not there. We are optimizing for top funnel keywords, informational keywords. These are keywords that brands would be spending millions of dollars on to drive the top funnel through maybe a YouTube ad, maybe through the display ad network. But we're using now AI overview to drive that level of performance of driving top level users to a brand's website.
Okay, you mentioned about informational content. What I have observed, like nowadays, when someone search any informational related query, Google AI overview directly give the answer. So, what do you think? This informational content is losing value for websites, or do we need to have more publication of informational type content on our websites?
We should absolutely have a top funnel, middle funnel, and bottom funnel strategy. The biggest mistakes today brands make is they're like SEO traffic aa jayega. I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it'll come, but you should know what kind of SEO traffic you want to drive, because you're
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing on performance marketing. In performance marketing, you have top funnel campaigns, you have middle funnel, you have bottom funnel. Why don't brands or other agencies use the same strategy for SEO? So at AdLift, what we do is we make sure that we have a top funnel keywords, middle funnel, and bottom funnel across SEO as well as AEO. And that's the kind of content we create on the blog site or on specific product landing pages for the brands. And then we also create content across the citation flow, across third party, high authority sites. And that's how we start to drive a lot of high intent leads that convert at a higher conversion rate. So that's essentially the overall opportunity right now to optimize for.
Great. So, do you think like AI generated content actually can rank well today? Are you using AI content tools?
So AI alone can't rank, but
Mm-hmm.
AI plus strategy plus human ex, ex, uh, expertise, right,
Mm-hmm.
ranks. So the way we think about it is, alone if you go to ChatGPT and say create an article on the best car insurance brands out there, and then you copy it and you paste it on your website, it's never going to rank. Maybe, and if you do a lot of it, maybe over the course of the next 4 5 months, Google's going to ding you for just creating low quality content. But if you have AI and use some really nifty tools, there's Napkin that we actually use. There's a lot of Gemini Pro that we've started to use for research, deep research. You use that with strategy and with the AI, with the human expertise. Together, all of this makes the content rank. So, use the way I would think about it is you got to use AI to fasten your understanding of the topic, but not use it to cut, copy, paste. So if
Okay.
what was traditionally taking you, like if I was to research around the car insurance market, right, in India, typically our content writer might be taking 5 6 hours, 7 hours, 2 3 years ago, like going through
Right.
every article, clicking through, downloading it into
Right.
a Word document, wordsmithing it, then creating a fresh article. Today with ChatGPT, deep research, with Gemini, you can do all of that. It does it for you, but you have to go in, read it. You have to figure out whether that level of content makes sense for my brand or not. Maybe it doesn't. You can also incorporate brand guidelines within that content. So a lot of human expertise needs to kick in into creating that content, but you should be leveraging AI to help you work smart.
Okay. Okay. So, what mistakes you think marketers are doing these days while using AI for content creation?
So, like I mentioned, what they're doing, Raj, is they're publishing raw AI output content. There's
Mm-hmm.
no subject matter expertise or validation happening. There's no original insight, right? There are no data points that are adding. There's no brand voice incorporation. All these things are just, you know, garbage in, garbage out. So, if your prompt is saying just create an article for car insurance, that's garbage in, garbage out, versus you have to
Okay.
go in a lot deeper, create more deep research, give me 5 year trends of car insurance, give me who are the best players who have amazing acceptance rate around this space. So all of that prompt engineering has to happen uh, within the entire content writing space to make sure that the content that's generated is user ready, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to still follow the Google E80 guidelines if we want to rank for AI overview and on Google, and that can only come in
Right.
through human intervention.
Okay. That means like human expertise is still required. It's becoming more important or less important now after this AI content creation.
100% more important. Like I feel I hear so much about, is AI going to eat my job? Is AI
Mm-hmm.
going to kill jobs? I think AI is only going to go after jobs where the people don't want to learn AI, right?
Okay.
Like today at AdLift, I think we discover two new tools every week across the AdLift ecosystem. We evangelize, in testing out new AI tools. We give incentive to testing out new AI tools. So all of that has to be very, I would say, company driven. We should not be averse to trying out new things and incorporating it in our daily life versus saying, AI is going to take away our jobs. But human intervention is critical.
Okay. Okay. So do you still use content writers? That means you still have a content writing team who are working day in day out for content creation.
100%, because credibility becomes the differentiator that comes from the content writers, that comes from their level of expertise. So there's no way that we cannot use not have content writers in place. It's just that they work a lot smarter and are being able to create a lot more E80 worthy content in a shorter amount of time period than they were before.
But you are using AI content. That means with your content writers.
We are using research from AI tools. The
Okay.
content is human written. The strategy of what
Okay.
content to write is human intervention. The research,
Okay.
which was previously only Google driven, is now
Right.
LLM.
Okay. So what type of SEO strategies you have changed in last 1 year?
So I think SEO, the way we look at it is overall the whole organic landscape has changed. There's now AEO, answer engine optimization, or generative engine optimization that's kicked in, which is, I feel, the future, Raj, because if you can come to look at it today, through multiple sources, large language models are anywhere between 12 to 15% of prompt or search market share, right? Previous to ChatGPT and Perplexity and Google and Gemini, 94-95% of market share was with Google. Bing was 2%. Bing took 10 years to reach 2% market share with all of Microsoft's power behind it. Large language models have reached 12 to 15% market share in 12 to 24 months. So, massive change in the last year, and for us as agencies it's really important for us to adapt to this change for our brands so that they can win in the AEO and GEO race.
Okay. So my next question is around AI only. Like, is keyword research still relevant in AI-driven search world? Do we still need to have keyword research related strategies, or we need to work on entities type? Nowadays we heard about more about like we should work on entities, we should work on topics, and accordingly we should create our credibility.
Overall, if we look at it, the KPIs within the AI space, within the AEO space, within the large language model space has changed. Earlier, we were tracking against clicks. We are now
Mm-hmm.
moving towards influence and impressions, right? Because large language models, we know, the likes of ChatGPT, the kind of traffic that they send your way, there's a significant improvement in conversion rates. There's a significant improvement in lead quality. The volume might be lower right now, but the lead intent is extremely high. So KPIs have changed. Now, as KPIs change, we also need to adapt to how the strategy change. So, to your question of keyword research is relevant, absolutely. But is the strategy around keyword research changed? 100%. So earlier the keyword research would be, if you're like, let's say Salesforce or Zoho, best CRM
Mm-hmm.
software. That's the keyword I
Mm-hmm.
want to optimize for. Now it's more specific. What's the best CRM for B2B startups or SaaS startups under $10 million in revenue? So now you want to start optimizing for these keywords, right? Some of them might be longer tail, a lot of them are informational. So hence a lot in the AI world, a lot of the keyword research is moved to prompt based research where you can segment best CRM software into 10 different topics. figuring out which is your target audience and optimizing for that.
Okay, okay. That means we are moving from search engine to answer engine now.
Yes. I would say
Okay.
search engine is important, right? You do want to rank for best CRM software. You want to rank for best uh, Android phone out there.
Phones.
You
Yeah,
want to rank for what's the best paddle racket out there, right? So
right.
that level of when it's lower funnel, SEO is very important. But when it's top funnel, both SEO as well as AEO becomes critical to be part of your strategy.
Okay. So what do you think, what new skills should SEO professional should learn today so that they can become more, important for agencies like your company?
So Raj, to be honest, prior to this podcast, I was actually playing around with Python myself. I've
Okay.
been a coder before, but for the last 10, 15 years, I've forgotten how to code. But given how JSON is working, Python is working, how CloudBot can be incorporated, I want to actually learn and increase my own skill set, right? Not only rely on the experts that we have at AdLift, we have an amazing tech team that is very proficient, but I'm kind of rolling up my sleeves and actually figuring out how to actually, get into the weeds. I think for every SEO professional, figuring out what prompt engineering is, entity mapping is, data interpretation, uh, all these LLMs do amazing work now on reporting and data interpretation, which if you had to go to Google Search Console on your own or GA4, it would take you hours to understand what's happening with the brand's data set. All of this can be done within minutes to give you that level of insight, right? So
Right.
even wearing a little bit of a coding hat, you don't have to become an expert coder, but creating different flows of automation to help you do the same task. If you're doing the same task in today's day and age, again and again, every day you're coming to work and you're doing that same task, it can be automated, right? So that's where SEO professionals, I see them evolving in, is using these tools to become far more efficient. The analogy that I use now, in today's day and age is the rocking horse or the rocking chair analogy, where you're in the same spot, but you're basically rocking, back and forth. So are you actually moving? You're not. Is there effort? Yes, there is, but you're not moving forward, right? So if you're doing the same tasks and again, you need some level of automation. So you need to sort of wear multiple hats as an SEO professional today.
Okay, okay. And this same thing will be valid for all those people who are planning to start their career in digital marketing. They need to have this Python related skill, or do you want them to first focus on uh, AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, work on prompt engineering, and then with time they can get into this development also, where they can work on automation?
So I think your question is for folks who want to start their own agency, what's the best path? So
Yeah.
I think the best path is to pick an agency out there that's been around for a while, work there for a year, 2 years, understand what are the gaps in today's agency world, and that's the gap that you should start to go ahead and fill. Now that could be, they're not very good in AEO, or within the AEO system they're not very good at including other LLMs. It could be SEO is a problem. It could be performance marketing, creatives are not being created up to par. But just to start from scratch a digital marketing agency in today's day and age, I think is very tough from where it was 15 years ago, because there's so many different players. So my advice would be to spend some time in a leading agency, right? Understand where the loopholes are and help to plug those in starting their own agency and doing it better.
Okay. Okay. So you also have more than 15 years of experience in digital marketing. If you were starting an agency today, what would you do differently?
That's a tough question. Uh, if I was do I have 15 years of experience before starting, or I'm starting pretty much
No,
afresh?
no, you are starting as a fresh.
Okay, so I would advise essentially what I just said, right? So, and that's essentially what I did. So prior to starting AdLift and running AdLift now for 15 years, I spent around 10 years working with Yahoo, which was the
Okay.
largest ad network at that time, leading search engine back in the day. Worked with eBay, managing their comparison shopping arms across 5 different countries. I worked very closely with AT&T in actually setting up a team back in the day. I think this was 2007, uh, where I was part of the team that actually set up the paid media spends in actually taking some of the ad dollars from television and putting into performance marketing. So really understanding how the ecosystem worked for good 7-8 years before starting AdLift. Now I don't think you need to spend 7-8 years to do what I did, but I would essentially again spend 2-3 years in a leading agency, understand client issues, understand how do clients win, how do brands win, how can we do a lot better, and then use that as a foundation to start my own thing.
Okay, okay, got it. So I want to ask about like you are working with big brands as well, plus you might be working with D2C companies. So who is getting more benefit in this AI-driven SEO? You have seen like companies with big budgets, they have big teams, they have more options to, I mean, do more research and then create better content are getting more benefit, or niche type of businesses are getting benefit after these AI-driven SEO strategies?
So I feel big brands definitely benefit because there is that AI, has a trust on known entities, right? Like today, again, if you go and search on, ChatGPT, give me the top 4, 5 CRM softwares, it'll tell you Zoho, Salesforce, HubSpot, all of the known guys. But if you were to type in, give me the best CRM for a company sub, 10 people, revenue of 1 million, code friendly, you probably get some uh, different answers other than Salesforce, because ChatGPT knows Salesforce is a very expensive proposition for a company that's less than 10 people. So now there's a chance for this very niche smaller company to rank amongst these huge elephants in the room. So AI definitely does trust known entities, but now with the onset of AI, smaller brands who create amazing content, citations, mentions across the web, across high authority sites, have a big chance in competing, with the biggies. So I would say AI rewards clarity as well as authority, not just the size of the brand.
Okay, okay. That means like branding becoming a new SEO now.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, okay. Now I want to talk about the future of SEO for next 3 to 5 years. What do you think how SEO will look like in 2028? Now so many changes have been done. Like, I mean, if you see last 1 year, Google has given so many updates. Everyone is, I mean, has got a fear like what will happen, they don't know. So what do you think how this overall SEO work will be done by people in next 2 to 3 years? Will these AI tools will dominate and Google may reduce the traffic, or Google will still be the king?
I think I think Google. So overall, zero clicks are currently at 60%.
Right.
Organic is 30%. So I don't see that reducing further in the next two years. I think the definition of SEO has changed now. Whether you want to call it AEO, GEO, whatever it is, I think the definition
Right.
of driving organic leads, organic revenue, and organic traffic has completely changed. So, as part of your organic strategy, you have to have AEO and GEO in there. You have to have the entire strategy of making sure you're ranking on Gemini, you're ranking on ChatGPT, you're creating amazing content across citations. At AdLift, we've actually built our own content lift platform, which is about 6-7 years old, where we have 40,000 publishers. So for us to create content on, let's say, an Economic Times or a Forbes, or even a niche golf website, if we have a golfing client, is easy for us to do because we have that network of citations, and we've been doing that for all of our brands. We've also invested heavily in our own AI tool, which is called Tesseract, which today we have about 180 brands, both globally as well as in India on it. What that Tesseract tool does is it helps you figure out whether you're ranking for LLM prompts. So if you have 100 prompts you're tracking, are you showing up on ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Perplexity, Gemini? That's essentially what the Tesseract platform does. So
Okay.
essentially, it's critical to have AEO tracking in place and then optimizing for ranking. Otherwise, brands that don't do that today, they're going to be left behind.
Okay. You mentioned like you have created your own tool which tracks the citations. uh, Most of the people have this doubt, like you mentioned like nowadays we call backlinks as citations. What I have observed, which people might be discussing, like citation mean mentioning a brand name. It may not be a link, but it can be a mention of a brand name, which AI tool picks, and then it creates that credibility for that brand. So, do you think the same, or it's different?
No, I think exactly the same. The only difference I would say between the backlink and the citation is the citation article might have a link to the brand website or might not. It might just be a mention. Whereas
Okay.
backlink definitely has a backlink to the brand. It could be a do follow or a no follow, right? That's essentially the difference. But the content and the strategy behind the content remains the same. It's essentially there is a link or there's not a link. The mention is there.
Okay.
The mention is there across both sides. The backlink one has a backlink. The citation may or may not have a backlink, right? So from our AdLift strategy, whenever we are creating a citation for LLM optimization, for AEO or for SEO, we always add a backlink because it doesn't hurt, right? It just adds authority to the site. So that's how we evangelize creating citations. But different brands can see what works best for them.
Okay. That means backlinks will still matter in next 5 years.
Oh, 100%. Because
Okay.
backlinks is essentially the backbone of authority and clarity, right?
Okay.
For Google. That algorithm is not going to change. I've been doing this for
Okay.
the last 20 years. We've always thinking, is backlink going to go away? It can't go away because that's how Google finds new websites, right? So backlinks is still going to be extremely critical. And if there are brands that are currently not doing it, then they're losing out.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you think? Like, what all steps businesses should take so that they can feel prepared for this AI war with different brands?
So I think they need to definitely invest in brand authority. So this comes in citation creation. They need to invest in original research or an agency that can help with original research and has a team of expert writers. They need to work on tracking AI visibility. Today, we work with a number of different brands. We have prospective brands reaching out to us, and Raj, they ask us, okay, we want to rank on AO, but the key question is, what prompts do you want to rank on, and are you tracking that? Is there a tool that you're using, right? And that's essentially why we built our own in-house tool, which now brands are using,
Right.
which is the Tesseract platform. So tracking for
Right.
AI visibility becomes extremely critical. Strengthening technical foundation. We are now entering the agentic world, right? Which is, hi Expedia, find me the cheapest tickets to Mumbai on the weekend of the Holi, and my budget is 7,000 rupees. Now, if Yatra or Make My Trip or Expedia doesn't have a strong technical foundation, the agent will not be able to crawl it really quickly and book those tickets. And
Right.
that's essentially what's going to happen. So agents are going to prefer websites that have strong technical foundations. So I think these are key, business preparedness foundations that brands need to work on.
Okay. Okay. Now I want to talk about the entry level SEO jobs. Do you think like AI will replace entry level SEO jobs, or still you have plans to hire new freshers?
I think, and I said this before, I think AI will replace people who don't know how to use AI.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel today, if you look at entry level creative jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say, 1 year ago, if you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for creative jobs entry level, what the skill set you
Right.
would look for is, do they know Adobe? Okay, do they know
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of Canva? Now, I think the key would be at these entry level, do they know Gamma? Do they know Notebook LLM?
Okay.
Is there other AI creative tools that they've used? Have they been able to work with Meta at mass creative optimization for different
Mm-hmm.
audiences at scale? Right? This would be the role of the entry level creative person, and whoever's hungry today in the entry level will win the job. If we go
Okay.
back, if we are at the entry level where we've just graduated out of college, and I'm sure Digital Vidya is doing this across multiple AI tools.
Right.
I don't know if
Right.
other institutes as good as you are actually doing this, but if you're graduating out of a Digital Vidya, you're obviously in very good hands. You're graduating out of you're doing your BBA, you're doing your bachelor's, and then you suddenly come out and say, you know what, I want an SEO job. I only know how to use, Google's keyword research, or I have read the basics of SEO. Obviously, you're not going to land that job, which you could have done 4 or 5 years ago. You have to
Right.
go one step further. Here's the website. I've put it on ChatGPT. ChatGPT has given me all these ideas to optimize on. These are the keywords. I've put in a spreadsheet with all the URLs. It's now given me title meta tag. So the entry level jobs will not go away, right? Because there's costs associated with it, but they have to be AI driven.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Well, Prashant, I have asked you so many questions. Now I want to have a rapid fire round where I'll ask you to just pick one option. AI tools for SEO, is it overhyped or is it essential?
Massively essential.
Okay. Manual content writing, is it dead or premium?
Premium.
Backlinks, still the king or it's dead?
Definitely the king and the ace and the queen.
Okay. Programmatic SEO, yes or no?
Yes, but only if it's done intelligently, not spammy. Idea should be again follow EE80 protocols in creating great content.
Okay. One AI tool every marketer must use.
Currently, I have 4 or 5 open, so I can't choose one. I think Claudebot has its own uses. Gemini you can use for a lot of deep research. ChatGPT will give you fast answers. Gamma to help better presentations and documents. So I think the more proficient you can become with multiple tools, the better you would be from a candidate who wants to get hired by a brand or an agency.
Okay. Okay. One SEO myth people still believe.
SEO is a one-time setup, and it's not an ongoing evolution.
Okay. Okay. So that's what I wanted to ask. I have a final question, which is if someone is confused about AI and SEO, what is the one thing they must understand so that they can have a proper understanding?
So I think AEO is more around answer engines, right? SEO is more around the one the search engine, right? So key area or key understanding is you're either optimizing for large language models like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, or for search engines. That's essentially the key difference.
All right, folks, this was a powerful conversation with Mr. Prashant. As AI may change tools, formats, and tactics, but discovery will always exist. The real question is who adapt faster? As we explore today, AI isn't here to kill SEO. It's here to reshape it. The tools may change, the algorithms may evolve, but one thing remains constant. Business will always need visibility, authority, and trust. The real question isn't whether AI will disrupt SEO. The real question is, are we ready to evolve with it? If you found value in this conversation, share this episode with fellow marketer, agency owner, or a student who is trying to navigate this AI wave. And if you want more deep dive discussions on digital marketing, AI, and the future of online growth, make sure to subscribe, follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. I'm Raj, and this is Digital Vidya Podcast with experts. See you in the next conversation where we decode the future of digital. Bye.